Hello everyone. So today I'll be discussing on how you can crack any Snowflake developer interview. What are the topics you need to consider, and how's the basic interview process. So generally, like when you appear for any Snowflake data engineer interview in service-based companies, there are mostly two rounds. Okay, and depending on the company type, like say for example, it's a product-based company or a fintech company or a banking company, the rounds might get increased. Or say for instance, there is a separate client round in service based companies, so the you can expect at least maximum 3 to 4 interviews. Minimum there would be two rounds. First round would be your basic. In that basic they would be asking you basic data engineering questions. It could be on SQL, Python, okay, and basics of Snowflake in the sense like definition, how's the architecture, and what are features you have worked on your about your project and basic stuff, right? But these questions, like scenario based questions, also are covered, but based on the years of experience, right? So if you are someone who falls in the category of 1 to 3, so there is a basic category also, like if you have someone who's having 0 to 1 years of experience or 0 to 2 years of experience, you can expect a little bit latency. Okay, there won't be any high expectations in terms of scenario based questions or in-depth understanding of the functioning of Snowflake, like how under the hood Snowflake works, how exactly micropartition works, how you optimize a query, or how do you do cost optimization. Okay, an advanced topic like network and data replication, and those topics are not covered, right? So what topics are covered in this, right? So it's important for you to understand what is your current project and what your roles and responsibility uh, are there, right? As a Snowflake developer or a data engineer on a daily basis, what task you do. Okay, and there should be good understanding of the architecture, like how the Snowflake architecture is, how it is different from other cloud providers. And there are few concepts like types of table, types of views, copy into command, time travel, fail safe, right? Copy into options, okay, storage integration, and different types of integration, if notification integration at max, storage integration and notification integration, time travel, and zero copy cloning. Okay, these are like important topics for 0 to 2 years of experience. At least you should be knowing this, and you should be having good understanding of SQL intermediate questions or medium level questions, like you should be able to solve windows functions, and you should be able to solve joins, right? So pretty much that's it, right? And basic expectation of Python could be there, like nowadays Snowpark is also used and Streamlit is also used. So Python orchestration or Python related libraries like pandas and numpy you should be knowing, and basic transformation using Python you should be knowing, right? SQL and Python is something very generic, right? Every data engineer should be knowing this. Okay, based on your years of experience and your level of expertise in that, these question may come, right? As far as you are comfortable, you might most probably you might be asked to rate yourself in SQL and Python, right? Now, when we come to your higher, like someone who's having good amount of experience and having 2 plus or 2.5 plus and above, or 3 years plus, right? So you fall in this category. It's important to have a solid grasp of your project, right? How the overall data flow, how the data, why the data is coming, how the data is coming, right? What kind of data is it, right? What domain you're working, what kind of data, in what file format your data loading, right? And what are other ETL tools you are using along with Snowflake. Here you might have to have good understanding of other ETL tools, like say for example Snowflake plus DBT, Snowflake plus Matillion, Snowflake plus Databricks, Informatica, right? Those stuff, and basic exposure of cloud as well. Okay, and for guys like who are like 0 to 2 also, you might also have to have good understanding of AWS, at least like how to create S3 bucket, right? How to create the storage integration object and configure S3 bucket, right? Similarly, uh, for people who are good, having good amount of experience, should be having good amount of, what do we say, understanding. Okay, and basics, at least the basics should be covered. Okay, the just like for 0 to 2 you should be knowing everything what a newbie should be knowing about Snowflake, how Snowflake is different from others, and basic features like cost, sorry, time travel and fail safe, other stuff, right? But here you might have to have good understanding of like caching, right? What are remote spillage, these kind of questions they you can get expect in the interview, right? And how do you study a query history profile, how do you know what portion of the query is taking long time, or is there any scope of improvement of optimizing a query, or how do you optimize the cost of a query, right? And you might also come up with data handling or data loading process, like passing the semi structured data, right? And how do you load the incremental load or SCD type load, how do you load like SCD type 1 or type 2 uploading, right? End to end process, right? How do you load the data to staging, then from what happens from the staging to the main table, whether to use streams or tasks, if you do use streams and tasks, how they're helping you to load the SCD type 2, right? And you should be familiar with in-depth concepts like under the hood how Snowflake works. It includes like should be knowing about micro partitions, clusterings, right? And what exactly happens when you load a data or you update a table at the micro partition level, right? This is added advantage because there would be a lot of scenario based questions here, right? Then you should be prepared to discuss your challenges, whatever challenges you face in the project, right? How did you overcome that, right? And certification related questions also come, because most of the people nowadays are like certified, and probably the some person who is taking your interview will also be certified, right? So they will ask you certificate related questions, right? And you should be having strong SQL and Python along with that, right? SQL, and there is no like if you are not good at SQL and Python, then it would be hard to crack the interview, at least for the second round and third round, right? So having like good amount of understanding of data warehousing and data modeling is also important, like whether to use star schema, Snowflake schema, general data warehousing questions, right? And data warehousing architects, like types of architects, say for example data vault 2.0 and those kind of architects, right? And fact schema, Snowflake schema, when to use those, right? And apart from that, if there is a, if you have like how do you take your production development data to production, or how do you do code migration using CI/CD, what CI/CD pipeline do you use, right? Or any other ETL tool, there can be a lot of questions around that, right? And if there is a separate client round, then most probably you might have to have a discussion. Client round are generally discussion, they are not like they won't ask you to share your screen and write a code, but most probably it would be a discussion, and what they have requirement on and how you can fulfill that, right? So whether that would be a general discussion. So for people who are having 6+ years of experience, generally your overall experience would matter a lot, right? And your of course good understanding of Snowflake is required, right? Understanding in the sense like you should be able to make decisions like business decisions. If something has been created, you should be able to know why particular approach is better, right? So all topics like cost optimization, query optimization, documentation, and your end-to-end data loading, right? Or data lifecycle, you should be knowing here, right? So people who are having 6+ years of experience should be having like good amount of experience in Snowflake. Apart from that, like there would be a huge responsibility that you will be going as a lead, right? So you should be knowing at least if you have a certified solutions architect, then it is a added advantage. Apart from that, like overall the process relates like still the same. Even in companies like Cisco, Tide, there are 3+ rounds, right? So there would be a proper assessment round or coding round or case study round, right? As far as my experience, I had a case study round in Tide, and if you give for Cisco, then there are companies like Cisco, Siemens, Tide, BlackRock, and Mercedes, Volkswagen. These companies I have given interviews and have cleared few of them, right? But I am still working in one of the service-based company right now, but I have good amount of experience. So so pretty much that's how the whole process is, right? Basic data engineering and Snowflake. And if you have like most of the clients require streaming, if you have experience in PySpark or working on streaming data, then it's a great advantage. I'll uh, I'll ping the details in. If you need this document, please let me know. I'll send this to you over email. Okay, thank you.